Hi, welcome to our how-to video series on Centerprise Data Integrator. In this video, we will learn how to use a delimited file as a source and destination in Centerprise. The delimited file source in Centerprise provides the functionality to read data from a delimited file. Delimited files are one of the most commonly used data formats and use specific characters or delimiters to separate records and indicate the structure of the table in which the data resides. Let's see how we can retrieve data from a delimited file in Centerprise. Find the delimited file source object in the Sources section of the toolbox and drop it onto the canvas. Now right-click on the delimited file source object and go to Properties from the list. On this screen, first you have to provide the path to your delimited source file. And then you have to specify a few options to retrieve data from your source successfully. If your source file contains headers, leave this box checked. And if your source file does not contain any headers, you can also choose to uncheck this box. Next, you need to provide the field delimiter of the file. A field delimiter is a character or a sequence of characters used to specify the boundary between different regions in plain text or other data streams. You can choose the field delimiter from comma, tab, semicolon, space, carriage return, or line feed options. Or if the file has any other delimiter, you can type it in manually. The field delimiter in my source file is comma, so I'll choose it from the list. And next you have to provide the record delimiter. A record delimiter separates records within the file. It could be carriage return or line feed or a combination of both. Another option available here is the text qualifier. If the data within the file is represented within text qualifiers, specify it so that Centerprise can process it accordingly. Also, if your source file has a hierarchical structure, you need to check this box. Now let's have a look at some of the advanced options on this screen. For instance, you can enter the number of rows the header spans and specify if you want to enforce the exact header match or if the column order or column headers are different from the layout. If there are any empty or unwanted rows at the beginning of your file, you can choose to skip them and specify the number of rows you want to skip. Also, there can be some records which you wouldn't want to process while retrieving the data. In that case, you can specify to skip records that begin with a certain word or a set of characters, or if they match a certain regular expression. If you want to retrieve all the records, you can choose this no filter option, and Centerprise will process all the records unconditionally. Once all file settings have been configured, click Next. On this screen, you can add or remove fields and customize your layout. We have our layout ready, so we can click OK. Now, if you look at the delimited source object, you can see that Centerprise has read the layout from the source file. We can now go ahead and look at the preview. And here you can see that Centerprise has retrieved data from our source file. You can now apply different functions or transformations to this data and load it onto different targets. So that was about using delimited file as a source. Let's learn how it can be used as a destination with a new example. Here we have some sample employee data retrieved from a database table, and we want to write this data to a delimited file. For this, drag the delimited file destination object from the destination section of the toolbox and drop it onto the data flow canvas. Now map the fields from your source dataset to the delimited target object. Right-click on the delimited file object and go to Properties from the list. First, you have to provide the path to the folder or directory where you want to write your destination file. Now name your file and click Save. If your dataset contains headers, leave this box checked, or if it doesn't, you can also uncheck this option. Next, you have to set a field delimiter for the records in your file from the options provided in this list. We discussed these options while setting up sources, so I'm going to set it as comma and move ahead. Next, you have to set a record delimiter from these options. In case you are using an existing file and want to add new records to the existing data, you can check this Append to File option, and the new records will be added at the end of the existing file without altering the current data in any way. Or if you don't want to append your data to a single file, but write it into multiple files, you can do that by checking this option. If your data is in hierarchical format, you can specify it here by checking this box. Once you have specified your options, click Next to proceed to the Layout Builder screen. Here you can see all the fields we have mapped from our source. The Layout Builder in Centerprise provides you with the flexibility to add or remove fields and customize your layout. We have our layout ready, so we can click OK. Now if we look at the preview, you can see that all the records from our source have been written into this delimited file. If we run this data flow, this will generate a CSV file. You can see in the job progress window that our file has been generated. So that concludes using the delimited file source and destination in Centerprise. You may also visit our support site for more information on setting up sources and destinations. Thank you for watching this video.